Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today I've just been doing water changes. Nothing too exciting. I really hoped to work out in the greenhouse, but alas, the weather is still not cooperating. In fact, we're supposed to get another winter storm this weekend. It's a little frustrating. The clock is ticking before my knee replacement, and I only have about 3 weeks left to get everything organized. So I'm really hoping next week it gets way warmer so that I can get all these fish moved outside. It's been an odd spring. I thought that today we would take a look around the fish room, feed some fish, and just kind of see how everybody's doing. Right now the fish room's very much in maintenance mode, so it's just changing water, feeding fish, and looking at them. So I thought I'd give you a ton of gratuitous footage, some updates on how the plant's doing in the 220 with the big boys, how Captain's doing, and just a whole bunch of fish footage. As always, thank you guys for your continued support. Make sure you are following me on Instagram as well as my business Facebook page, where I put a lot of extra content. And also make sure you have that notification bell on. Apparently you only get notified if you hit that little bell icon. I don't know if it makes a huge difference or not, but it can't hurt. I will be live streaming tomorrow. I'll post up sometime today what time that'll be. Let me know below if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or questions. So I thought we'd start with an update on this aquarium, the 75-gallon Nano community. It is doing so awesome, and I'm super stoked with it. You may be noticing that I am wearing some new merch that's launching. I'll make sure I put the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. It says MsJinx.com with this crystal red in the front, and then it says Aqua Girls Rock on the back. I thought it'd be a great way to show my support of women within this hobby. And my friend Kevin, when he was down a few weeks ago helping me shuffle things about, did the design for me, and I think they came out pretty cool. But more importantly, all of the aquariums right now are very much in maintenance mode. And this one has to be one of my favorites. I love sitting in my recliner and just watching this aquarium. It's super peaceful, really beautiful, and just has been very rewarding to keep. And I'm really looking forward to making more aquariums like this around the fish room. In fact, I'm going to let you guys in on my plans for the future down here, and we'll take a look around, check out some of the fish, feed them, and scheme together on what's going to happen once I'm recovered. So let's get started. So as we can see, Captain has settled in nicely to his aquarium with a bunch of driftwood. He hasn't given himself any new damage in quite a while, and he's all healed up from his protest against new decor. All in all, he and Whiskey are doing really, really well with this aquarium. He seems to really like the tannins, that tea-stained water that have happened from all the wood. Even though he's being kind of a weirdo right now, but that's just Captain for you. I've considered doing some Oscar merch as well. Let me know below if that's something you guys would be interested in the future. I still have to go out and buy him all the crickets that you guys super chatted for, but I promise that that will be happening soon, and it will get its own video. So one of the things that I want to do in the fish room when I come back after my surgery is turn this entire wall of aquariums into displays. And the idea is that I'm going to try and get guest aquascapers in order to have them set up aquariums by going through all my hardscape stash and really giving them the opportunity to showcase their talents. We can do some interviews, and I'll have a whole bunch of really cool looking aquariums to show displays and build communities around in order to help educate you guys further on how fish behave and how they interact with their environment. I think it'll be super, super fun. But again, this idea is in its infancy, so it'll be a bit until all this happens. But I think it would be really spectacular to have this big wall of absolutely gorgeous displays of all different styles of aquascapes. Let me know what you guys think about that and what kind of aquascapes you would like to see. All the fish in the fish room are looking amazing. You know, they've been in for a minimum of 3 months at this point, so everything is just fat and happy. Everything's starting to spawn everywhere. I showed you guys these baby plecos the last week, but there's actually a new spawn as well that's just emerged today. There's one of the brand new guys right there, really, really teeny. And everything's doing super awesome. Now these super red ancestris are really, really beautiful, and the camera just doesn't seem to capture how truly red they are. They're really gorgeous fish, and I'm excited to have a nice couple spawns from them. Everywhere I look in this aquarium right now are baby fish. So that bodes very well for me and for these guys as to how happy they are. Phoenix tetras. Now this is a species I really am tempted to try outside. You can see on the males there how they get that really, really beautiful elongation to their fins and that red tail. They're a very subtle fish, but I think that they would be absolutely stunning in a big planted display. So I want to get a bunch more of them, and I thought that the easiest way to do that would be to breed them. So they're ones that I may try in the greenhouse for selfish purposes, as these guys are not cheap. They run anywhere from $7 to $9 a piece, despite being a relatively plain fish. So I think I'm going to try them outside if I ever get to move anything outside, so that we can set up a big model community for you guys based around these fish. I'd really like to see how they interact in a planted aquarium. The big boys are doing awesome. They had a really hefty feeding yesterday, so I'm not going to feed them today. But as always, they're begging like crazy because that's what they want, is food all the time. One thing I have noticed recently is that the body conformation of my little Cuban is changing more to an adult shape. When gars age, they get almost a lump to their back, which you can see on this guy starting up here, which makes me think this guy is stunted from his time at university being part of that study. But you know, it's not exactly a bad thing in my mind if he doesn't get to be 3 feet long. So anyway, I just noticed that this week that his conformation had changed a bit. He's starting to look more in overall body shape like my tropical, who is full grown at this point. Hopefully his temperament will even out soon too, so he quits biting me. In this aquarium, I have a bunch of volunteer Physidens on my log, which kind of excites me because I never had Physidens on that log, and I'm not actually sure how it got there. And there's also a bunch of Java moss growing in the back. So those things in combination with this big African water fern, I think really make this tank look cool. So again, soon we're going to get to that background. I've been so focused on the greenhouse that it just hasn't been a priority, but if things stay cold, that's going to become top priority. Over here we have all those baby albino ancestris. These fish just won't stop spawning. This tank is just crawling with babies. Up here we have the Indian hatchets, Labuca dati bergeri, which I think are super underrated fish. They're absolutely stunning, especially once they settle in. And you can see they get almost like a purple iridescence to that lateral stripe they get. Really, really pretty. And then that nice lemon yellow color. I think they're gorgeous. The 150 is doing super well. As always, this tank is just the easiest aquarium ever. The fish are super happy. They're always really colorful. You can see those yellowfin shiners are fired up in breeding dress again. All the plants are doing really well, and I'm super stoked with it. The Brooklyn tank is doing all right. I really need to get in there and replant all that dwarf chain that accidentally got lifted up when I did a water change last week, but I just haven't gotten to it. My little crystal red tank is doing fine. Crystal reds and crystal blacks in here. This is my longest running planted aquarium, and it's just plugging along like always. I did eventually end up adding a little power head to this aquarium rather than running an air line for an air pump, simply out of sheer laziness. But again, this tank just kind of does its thing and keeps on going. I really hope to get all of these aquariums taken down soon, but with the weather, I've been sort of in a holding pattern. I wanted to be able to break down all those tanks as well as all the top row up here to get backgrounds applied to them so that when I do my model communities, they'll be done. We also need to take a closer look at the little black darter tetra and pygmaeus tanks. So let's do that real quick. This is an aquarium that reads way better in person than it does on camera. It's actually really, really pretty. And as I mentioned last week, these darter tetras are getting more and more visible and coloring up better and better. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to start seeing breeding behavior from them. You can see there's a whole bunch of them, and they're no longer shy at all, which is really rewarding. There's also, again, a ton of pygmaeus in here, and they sort of perch all over the various spots in the aquarium doing what Corydoras pygmaeus do, which is being absolutely adorable. But for me, the stars of the show are definitely these black darter tetras, Poecilocherax weitzmani. I just can't get over how gorgeous they are, and they're not even fully colored up yet. Again, they're a fish that doesn't show particularly well in stores, but once you give them a good environment and let them settle in, they are absolutely just totally worth the effort. The 75 has filled in incredibly well. You can see the Nanostomus sp, which absolutely love this aquarium. They are always fully colored up and very interactive and outgoing, and it makes me super happy. Again, the Otocinclus are absolutely obese from eating all the leaf litter as well as the fungus that grows on the driftwood and other microorganisms within the aquarium. The green neons, as you can see, are always actively engaged in that middle part of the aquarium, which was my goal. I wanted them in and out of those plants, swimming back and forth, and just adding little pops of color against the darker driftwood. There's one of the apistos there. There's a pair of these wild guys in there, as well as my Trifasciatus male. And I think that his female may be on eggs because she's been being very elusive the past couple days, so it's possible we'll start seeing fry emerge in this aquarium as well, which will be exciting. I added new leaves in here about a week ago, and I think I may add a few more. I need to get into this aquarium and vacuum over the surface of the substrate. There's a bit of detritus that's accumulating around this crypt thicket, and also I told you guys how I'm utilizing that Sarah snail trap, and it's doing a really great job. Already the amount of visible snails in this aquarium is greatly reduced, and my pea puffers are super happy with all the snacks. Look at those otos, aren't they cute? And this is how they should behave. They should always be pretty active and wiggling about, almost like cory cats. Often when you see them kept in smaller numbers, they just are not very outgoing, and they fail to feed nearly as well. So I think it's especially important if you're considering having Otocinclus to make sure you get an adequate sized group. Look how beautiful those pencils are. I love how they get that like gold lateral line. But you guys can see how active this aquarium is. And I know it's not particularly popular to stock a ton of tiny fish in an aquarium of 75 gallons, but I'm hoping that a lot of you see why I made this decision, because it's really a fun tank to watch. The new shrimp are doing well. These are snowballs in with my rosy loaches for now. I'm going to be moving the rosies outside, and maybe the shrimp too. Snowballs are one that have been around since about 2004, and I just wanted to do them again because They're kind of a classic that's been forgotten over the years because they're not as flashy as some of the other shrimp. But I particularly like them. Look at these little rosy loach faces. Aren't they adorable? So that's what's going on in the fish room. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more work out in the greenhouse soon, but if not, in the meantime, at least I'm really enjoying all of these aquariums.